Yo, what's going on, and welcome back to Destiny 2 Forsaken. And today we are taking a look at the Heart of Inmost Light exotic chest piece for the Titan. So this thing has quite the little paragraph for an effect here, and its exotic perk or intrinsic perk is called Overflowing Light. And it says, using an ability, your grenade, melee, or barricade, empowers the other two abilities. Empowered means abilities have faster regen, melees and grenades do more damage, and barricades have more hit points. Now, I wasn't exactly clear on what empowered actually meant until I really tried it out and did some experimenting with it. And I figured out a few really cool things about it. First of all, empowered, like when you use an ability, it automatically empowers your other two abilities. So if you don't already have the empowered buff, you can empower both of your other abilities. And I believe I also found instances where I had empowered times 2, where I was able to empower like one ability 2 times, while the other 2 were both empowered 1 time. I'm not positive on all that working, but bear with me here just for a second. So when your abilities are down, like on cooldown, you can actually use the third ability and empower yourself, and it'll still empower the 2 other abilities even though they're on cooldown. This means that their ability regen timer actually increases even though you're not getting to use them. Originally, I was under the impression that you actually had to use them to get this increased cooldown time, and that's actually not the case at all. Which means that if you waste an ability, or you have used it and you need it again for whatever reason, you can use a different ability to get it back faster, which opens up a lot of potential for some cool stuff, which I'm going to show you in just a little bit here. But first, I want to show you just exactly how this works. So for this first part here, we're just going to be looking at how it actually works. And when we throw our fusion grenade, we're going to get 9,810 damage. And then here, I'm going to try and throw out my barrier really quick at the end, but I don't get that increased cooldown reduction, which is because empowering has ended. Now here we throw out the rift, or the barrier first, and then I see a target in the background. I stick him with the fusion grenade, and we get 14,601. That's nearly 50% more damage on our grenade. And then I'm trying to fit, like we saw a little bit of grenade cooldown reduction at the start there, but it ended when empowering went away. So here is where I learned that we can just get our cooldowns by using our third ability. So we shoulder charge that guy, and both of our abilities that are on cooldown quickly get their cooldowns back. Now there's one other thing to note. I actually waste both of my abilities here, but I figured out that if you punch something, just normal punch, it empowers your abilities. Now when I first saw this exotic, I immediately thought of what would be really good with this. And the first thing that came to mind was the new Code of Commander. It had already been nerfed for having too good of a cooldown reduction. So this resupply ability, where you regen health and grenade and melee energy when your void things detonate, seemed like it would synergize really well with something else that gives you cooldown reduction, because they're both different types of buffs, so they'll stack on top of each other. So let's look at just how crazy this can really be. And when you see this clip, you will notice that my melee is almost not on a cooldown. With the combination of the explosions and using other abilities, I can melee, and within 1 or 2 seconds it's up again. My grenade comes back up pretty quickly. I can jump up here, boom, melee, and look, it's almost up again. It almost feels like you don't have cooldowns to begin with. I'm empowered here. I walk up melee, melee's back up, I throw my grenade, and then I'm going to run up to these guys, melee, start everything all again. And my grenade and barrier are coming back up. I actually use the little empowerment thing there where you can just punch and get new empowerment. I'll grenade up there. and start everything all over again. And to note, you can also use those rifleman holograms to use your abilities on and get your empowerment. Now, I still don't understand this empowerment ×2 exactly. I don't get what causes it. It doesn't seem like it always happens. It seems like I wasn't getting it to proc on Sunbreaker, but I was definitely having it happen a lot on Sentinel. So maybe if you use the same ability twice in the same rotation. But there, obviously, I kind of jumped into that abomination and killed myself. But here, I'm gonna put up my barrier, run up, melee this guy, not do anything else, and we'll just look at my melee. It's already up. This is actually just crazy. And we'll look at that, whatever that empowerment ×2 is. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure eventually, or maybe someone already knows how to ensure that you get that, but it seems like a really good thing to do and make use of. So how good is Heart of Inmost Light? It is amazing in some circumstances and not that great in others. It's always going to give you a benefit. It's kind of just a passive that's going to make your cooldowns and damage better just by being there. It's not going to... It might change your playstyle a little bit. If you think to use it, you can always make sure to use a different ability first before you drop something. Like a pulse grenade on Striker might be huge against a boss. If you just drop your rally barricade in front of the boss in the raid, then drop your pulse at his feet. All of a sudden that pulse grenade is going to be doing a lot more damage, and you are going to be putting that rally barricade down anyways. So might as well get it. And that pulse grenade is going to have reduced cooldown. So it can be really useful on every single subclass of Titan. I think Sentinel just pushes it past that limit a little bit, where you can do some ridiculous ad clearing. I don't know how good it would be against a boss. I haven't gotten to use it against a boss, but I do see the possibility of maybe equipping this, throwing down a rally in front of Shuro-Chi. She doesn't really move. You just drop your rally and then you put a void wall grenade on the ground, and it's going to cause constant damage to her and constantly apply that little void detonation thing. And since your team is all shooting at it, it's going to keep detonating. So your cooldown is going to be ridiculously low, and it's going to just keep proccing off of itself. So the void detonation is just going to keep going off over and over, giving you a bunch of extra damage. So that might be something interesting to try. I will probably try it here when I get to do the raid again next week. But yeah, I would definitely recommend using Heart of Inmost Light if you don't have something better. The Sentinel does have that specific exotic to itself, and I know the one-eyed helmet is very good for Titan, but I have neither of those, so I'm definitely going to be running Heart of Inmost Light for a little while here. And with Sentinel, it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. Either way, I hope you found this all useful. Maybe you're looking for that Heart of Inmost Light now, because it's kind of, you're always using your abilities. It's a lot more fun to always use abilities. When you get those strike modifiers or whatever that increase your grenade cooldown, it's always a good time to just chuck them all the time, and this is what that's going to give you. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.